All right, Dark Fae Hard 120. This is the progression version. So this is one where I am showing 3 teams that are all epics or rare only. And then 1/4 team that I throw in a couple free, easy to get legendaries to see if we can make it faster. But I'm showing you teams that you can build without having any legendaries, all epics, that can get this done on full auto. Let's get into it. Hey, before we go on, click the link in the description right now and you can get the great legendary poisoner, Narma, along with 3 epics. You get Anax, Mausoleum Mage, and the best epic in the game, Uugo, as you progress. All you have to do is follow 4 steps. Step 1, log out Play and Play on the PC and uninstall. Step 2, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email. Step 3, launch raid, complete the tutorial. And step 4, go to your inbox, Narma's there waiting. These 4 free champions will give you an insane head start in raids, so click on that link before it expires. Okay, here's the first team. Remember, I'm gonna show multiple teams on here, at least 4 or 5. And I'm also gonna show a bunch of subs for each of these champs. There's actually a lot of champs you can use here. I think this is one of the best designed bosses in the game. You can approach it with an all epic team like this. You can use rares, you can use legendaries, you can use all kinds of champs. It's really well designed. If you understand the mechanics of the boss and you bring the right team, she's really easy to beat. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't bring the right team, she'll wreck you. So it is important to follow the mechanics. So that's what I'm gonna walk through. I'm gonna show you a number of different teams. I'm gonna explain why do they work, and then how do you know which of the subs you could use based on what champs you have. So let's get into this run, and while we're in it, I will explain why I picked the champs I did and what we're doing. So this boss has 250 speed, so you need to be faster than that if you want to go before the boss, which is important. And 355 accuracy to land your abilities on the boss, 355 resist if you want to resist the boss. The first thing the boss is going to do is it's going to grab a copy of all the champs you bring. And that's the biggest piece of the strategy, is contemplating who you bring. So you don't want to bring any super tanky champs you have, because the first thing you need to do is kill the mirrored copies of your champs. And if you bring in somebody who's too tanky, you're not going to do that. So watch how this fight goes. The first thing that's going to happen is Deacon. He's going to do time compression to buy us time, then decrease defense. Then Allure is going to put down, I brought Shamael, so he's going to slow us down. Allure will then put everybody to sleep. Then the Royal Guard goes, we get a copy stolen again, which is this case is Shamael, and he just one-shot my Royal Guard. Fantastic. So we're going to go 4-on-1 here. So what you saw there is the first thing I did is control. You get the first turn in this fight. So Deacon, my fastest champ, will be the first one to go. The first thing he does is reduce their turn meter, because if you don't, if your first champ that you goes doesn't give you control or speed, then your copy of that champ goes next on the other team, and you've lost control of the fight. So that's the most important thing, is making sure that fastest champ you have is somebody that's going to give your next champ. The mirrors have no skills on cooldown, so it's important that you have the right champs with skills not on cooldown as well. So I'll show you the team settings. Deacon is set up in the round 2. He doesn't use any of his abilities because I need to make sure it's here for the boss on the last turn. And then I'm putting in champs that can reduce turn meter. So both Deacon and Allure can reduce this boss's turn meter, and Royal Guard can put leech, or can put decreased speed on the boss so that we get more time. That buys us the time. From there, I'm just trying to do damage. It's helpful that Deacon brings the leech so that my champs can heal themselves, because this boss will get turns, especially when I'm fighting 4-on-5. And in this team, some people would say, oh, I don't have 2 Royal Guards. Well, you can see I'm beating it with 1. So you don't need the second Royal Guard. He was helpful to kill my mirrored copies, and he would have been helpful on the boss if he had stayed alive. But I brought a damage-based Shamael just to see how that worked, and my damage-based Shamael just killed him. So I do have a second Shamael. You could build Shamael to be slower and not do that. That would work as well. The boss does put True Fears out, buff steals, heals, and does an ally attack. That's actually why I put Shamael on this team, because he strips all the fears, so I don't lose any turns. I'm going to show you 3 more teams without Shamael. He's just helpful to be on the team because he can strip those fears. My team that I run every day on my main account doesn't use a Shamael. We just lose the turns to the fears, and we still win. So the next 3 teams I'll show you don't use that. So there you go, 3 minutes, 9 seconds. It'd be faster if Royal Guard 2 didn't just do 100,000 damage. But you can see basically the main Royal Guard did most of the damage, but it's pretty well spread. You know, I should say it had the highest damage, but pretty well spread across the other champs. Basically, Allure and Deacon keep the turn meter down, And then from there, we just chip away at the boss, and we have some healing and or leech in there to keep us alive. The only thing I didn't mention in that, I can show you in the team settings. So if I show you the team settings, one thing is the boss will grab a champ. You saw after I killed my mirrors, it stole Shamael right away. And Shamael is my highest attack champ on this team. So if you want to control who the boss steals, because you're going to have to kill that champ, you can just make sure that that's your champ with the highest attack. I contemplated bringing in, I have a resistance build Shamael, just so he could clear the fears and not get built, and then he wouldn't have one-shot my Royal Guard. So maybe I'll rerun it with just the lower base Shamael. Let's just see what it does so you can see that. But I think that one was 309. I'll write that down. So anyway, Deacon, you can see his stats here, and I'll show you the builds at the end of the video. But you can see the stats of the champs as on the side as you go along. So Deacon was the fastest champ. He has enough accuracy to land his abilities. That just needs to be 355. That just needs to be faster than everyone else on the team, and hopefully faster than 250 as well, or the boss is going to go. And those are his skills. As I said, shut off on the second round, and there's his third. Royal Guard is open with takedown and then didn't use it, and it's available to go on round 3. The slower Royal Guard didn't use hamstring, didn't use takedown in round 2. In round 3, he got killed. Allure is allowed to use her A1 and A2 in the first round. Second round, I saved the temptation, so in round 3, that's available. So she opens with it, turn it off. And her A3 is just a useless skill, so I turned it off everywhere. And then Shamael's free to do what he wanted to do till round 2. I told him to turn off the Cow of Horrors so he could have it available in round 3. So anyway, those were the team settings. And as I said, when I flip to those champs, you can see the builds over there as well, for stats anyway. That's that team. All right, I brought this team back with my Shamael that's not built for damage, just to show you the difference if you don't which champs you have with the highest attack on the team. So let's see these guys clear my mirrors first, and you'll see in this case Shamael wasn't able to one-shot my champ, and you'll see now the boss stole Royal Guard instead of Shamael. So I'm able to clear the fears instantly with Shamael being in there, and the second Royal Guard and Shamael end up killing off my mirrored copy. So now I'll keep all 5 champs alive because my damaged Shamael wasn't stolen to kill one of my champs. So just a different approach. Now I'll do less damage because this Shamael isn't built for damage than I would have with the team that I had in there. So it's a trade-off, right? I keep a Royal Guard, but I lose a Shamael with damage. So just a difference. I'll come back at the end and show you the time, and we'll see if it was actually faster, and then I'll show you the Shamael build on this one. So she just stole Royal Guard again, and the Shamael cleared the fears instantly, so it is helpful having Shamael not be the one stolen. And our time is actually slower in this case than it was when we had the stronger Shamael in there. So seems like getting him stolen and losing a Royal Guard. So this fight, I went the whole fight with all 5 champs alive, and I was actually slower. So anyway, interesting to see that. As I said, let me just show you the only difference in this team was the swap out for Shamael. So this was a Shamael that actually has low speed, no damage really. He's just a resist build. He was built for to be a Mischief Chank and Hydra, and I don't use him anymore, but he's still in the build. So just showing you when he had the lower attack, it stole a different champ, changed the dynamics of the fight because my fear clearing champ was in the whole fight. But it didn't matter. I was actually slower. So just kind of an example. So those are 2 teams that were the same team with 2 different champs for Shamael twice. Let me bring in a different team that doesn't use Shamael just to show you some variety. All right, next all epic team doubled up on the allures, but brought in a level 51. We just threw some gear on her. She's fast enough, has enough accuracy. We'll see if we can keep her alive though. Brought Magnar in for more AoE damage to try and clear my ads faster. Because if you leave Farak and Fat standing, he does an ally attack and brings the boss against you, which isn't good. And then switched out Deacon. Deacon's better. If you got Deacon, use Deacon. He's got the leech, fantastic. I'm just throwing you a high Katoon option. So let's bring them in. I don't think I'll waste your time on the waves. Magnar will actually clear them pretty fast for the first wave, and then I've got his A2 turned off for the second wave, so he should wipe them. All right, and then I'll bring it back to the boss. All right, we're gonna see if our Magnar here can kill his mirrored copy, because bringing a big tanky champ is what I told you not to do, and then I did it anyway. So we're gonna see if his AoE allows him to clear those guys out. So he should get the turn before his copy. All right, Magnar. All right, he cleared all the guys out, so that actually worked well. Everybody got feared, of course, and we lost all our turns, but Magnar did his job to kill. So we've got 2 allures still alive, which means we're going to get some turn meter reductions. We still have the Fat Man to bring the ally attack, which will give me more turn meter. My Haikatune has enough accuracy to land the decreased speed. Looking pretty good. And Magnar can do some damage as random DPS. Put any DPS you want in there. He'll help do the job. So there you can see there's the Fat Man ally attack and drops the turn meter even more. So with 2 allures in there and Frock and the Fat to decrease the turn meter or to bring the ally attack and Haikatune to decrease speed and a speed boost and a turn meter boost. It's a lot of control. We should be able to keep that boss down and just plug away at the boss slowly but surely so you could farm Dark Fae reliably. All right, I will bring you back when the boss is pretty low because there's probably no whole lot of excitement to sit here and watch them peck away. Well, it's not a fast run, but if you want to farm Dark Fae reliably with an all-epic team, they do the job. No threat whatsoever. The boss isn't even taking a turn. We are just keeping that turn meter down the whole time and letting everybody do their damage. Unfortunately, with all those poisons up there, the boss never takes a turn, so we never get to see the poisons, but down goes the boss. So a whopping 6.5 minutes, but you can see Magnar doing a lot of damage. My allure that's actually built is doing another 900. My allure that's only level 50 didn't do much. So if you made her 6-star and got War Master on her, she has no masteries, then that would be a faster run if she's doing 700,000 more damage, right? So that's that team. Let me show you the team setup on them, and you can see the stats while we're at it. So Haikatune at 289 speed. Those are my settings. Frock and the Fat is the same, I think, is what I showed. I don't remember if I showed him. So those are his settings and 252 speed. Magnar is in there with no preset on there. Saved the A2 and then used the A2. He's 209 speed. Allure number 1. This is my 6-star, 274 speed, 405 accuracy. She has those skills locked out, opens with the Temptation. Allure number 1 is 252 speed with 382 accuracy. Not much in the way of HP and defense, but she still has crit because you need that for her to land her decrease turn meter on her A1. So same skills as the first allure. So that was that team. Second all-epic team to beat the boss. I think I'm going to come back with a fun all-epic team that's just a fun strat, different approach. All right, we're about to finish this guy off, so let's see if this strat works when we hit the boss here. We should see my Exemplar run up and do nothing. Now there should run up and freeze somebody. She uses her Pioneer attack. She does not use her freeze skill. Well, that's unfortunate. That's the whole thing she's supposed to do. All right, we are at the boss. We should see my Exemplar run up or do her A3. And the other Exemplar does the same stupid thing. She won't use the stupid skill. Why? I built an Exemplar who won't use her stupid skill the way everybody says she's supposed to. What a waste of time. Well, maybe I'll bring a different freeze champion. All right, bringing in a freeze Dark Elhain team, and I'm going with the rare. I'm afraid he's going to self-buff at the boss, and this is going to fail horribly, but I'm going to give him a shot and see if he can do the job that Exemplar failed me on. All right, so I will bring you back at the boss and see if Greybeard does his job. All right, big moment at the boss. My Greybeard should run in and do nothing. Theirs should now try and freeze us. It freezes somebody. Elhain goes and doesn't have enough damage to kill everybody. Got a squishy team, and Dark Elhain couldn't kill him. All right, boss. My Greybeard should run up and do nothing. Their Greybeard should do AoE and freeze somebody. Dark Elhain should wipe them out. Now we see if we can keep the boss's turn meter down while we go ahead. So I put Hamstring in first for Royal Guard, which I think is the trick. So we've got the 2 allures in control. I don't care if Greybeard lives through this. I just need the 2 allures in Royal Guard. And if the boss never takes a turn, we don't even need Royal Guard to reapply that. So I struggle with this team, and I think my difference was I put Hamstring on for Royal Guard to start this round, and that made a huge difference, getting that decreased speed up on the boss right away. The boss never took a turn to steal. So we cleared our mirrors through Dark Elhain, and the boss never had a chance to take one of them back. Wow, that will make this highly reliable now. And that's with the level 50 allure and a level 50 Greybeard. So they're just going to keep chipping away at this boss. You can tell the boss is just not even getting turn meter. So she is not going to take a turn. And we will just keep trucking away slowly on this boss nice and safely. So I will just pause it and bring it back when we're close to the end so you don't sit here and watch this. All right, down she goes, nice and smooth, 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Not as slow as I thought it would be, to be honest. So with all epics and a rare, and I guess those be my 2 damage dealers with the boss. That actually went pretty smoothly from my perspective. All right, 415. Let's show you the team settings, because the team settings make a huge difference here. I failed a number of runs until I figured out these team settings that worked for this team. So Royal Guard, he opens with takedown and then doesn't use anything. And this was the switch. I had him doing takedown first and I just lost. But when I switched him to hamstring first, it was smooth. Had to slow the boss down first. Dark Elhain can do anything she wants. She will trigger her passive when somebody gets frozen. Greybeard could do whatever he wants. At the boss, do not use Ice Crush though, because if he opens with Ice Crush, then their Dark Elhain wipes our whole team. So just need to make sure that's off at the boss. The allures are the same as you've seen in the other allures. They are free to use Temptation until round 3 when they just use those. So, and you can see the stats that were here too for those champs. Dark Elhain's my favorite, 110 speed. We just built her for damage. Didn't care. Her passive will allow her to do her job. All right, that was that team. I'm gonna bring one more. All right, just an option here for champs that have been fairly accessible lately that just could speed things up if you have them. So I showed you teams with the double allure. This one just brings a different DPS and Dythe. He doesn't have anything particular to the skill. He's just an AoE damage dealer. You could bring anybody. And then Ninja brings in some max HP that's faster than a Royal Guard. If you have Newt, if you have Marius, if you have Acrizia, any of those more crazy, 8 max HP champs, bring them in. Husk can work here too, because I used Royal Guard in this spot. So Royal Guard, Husk, Ninja are all acceptable. Just Ninja I know has been free a couple of times, and Syl is a login champ. So Syl brings some healing and a revive, which is helpful. So just to show you this team, I won't spend too much time on the waves. I'll skip to the boss. But Deacon's nice because he brings the decreased attack, and he's got the turn meter, and he's got the leech, so he helps the team stay alive. And with Dythe in here, you're going to clear the wave faster as well. So it's just a faster option if you have champs like Syl or anybody that's a more impactful DPS. Let me pause just a couple of seconds and bring you back at the boss. All right, so at the boss, we should have Deacon do his ability, put the decreased defense up. He didn't hit everybody. And then Ninja does his slash, and then Dythe has his AoE. So there's really nobody going to survive that from the ads. It could fail, I guess, if this ninja gets off his abilities and somehow wipes us, but it's pretty rare, but it could happen. So from here, we're pretty good shape. Allure's going to do her thing. Syl will eventually land the decreased speed. We have healing and a reviver here. So the odds of this one failing are much lower than some of the other teams that you could use here because you've got so many fail safes. You've got damage, you've got turn meter, you have heals, you have revive, so this team can survive a lot. So this is the team I've kind of been running with the exception of Dythe. I had a different champ in there for him. So I built some faster teams in my video the other day that go through this faster, but this team is for a progression level. It's pretty smooth. So I will pause it and bring you back at the end so you don't waste your time. All right, so there you go, 207. That one's a lot faster, as I said, when you're bringing in better damage dealers and really safe and healthy. So let me show you the team settings on that one. Oh, well, thank you for jumping on the screen right where you need to click. That's helpful. All right, so we're back. So Deacon uses those skills. Dythe comes in with those settings. Allure is the same as you've seen in the other champs. Syl is those settings. And you can see the stats, and then Ninja is those settings. So I won't go through all the builds because I feel like nobody will watch it. As you've gone through the champs and the team settings, you've seen the stats for every champ. Let me just call out anything that is particularly of interest in the champs that I use where they had particular sets on. So Ninja was in Merciless. He doesn't need to be. He'll do his damage anyway. Syl's in Relentless. Helpful, but isn't necessary. Deacon's in Nothing. Dythe is in Lethal, which is helpful. My Allure is just in Immortal Perception, so nothing special. Royal Guard was in Nothing Special. Dark Elhain was in 6-piece Merciless for the attack, so I built her for damage. It's probably worth just showing her stats. She had some I guess I showed you the stats in the other ones, but those are the masteries she had. She had a 4-star Phantom Touch. The level 50 Allure was in a Relentless set, which is pretty cool if you can get your Allure in that. And, you know, she didn't have a lot of stats because she was only level 50. She had no mastery, no blessing, no relic. Graybeard was literally just in whatever I could get to get the speed and the accuracy where I needed it. He had no blessings. You know, his skills were booked. It is important that his freeze is booked so that your copy has the freeze booked. So then he has a 45% chance of 40% chance of landing it on the AoE. Exemplar failed me. Magnar I did use. Those were his mastery. He was in an instinct set, and those were his stats. And then Frock and the Fat was in there. He was in a shield set. That's for Fire Knight. Doesn't matter in this fight. He had War Master, Phantom Touch, no relic. And Haikatoon was in there. You saw the stats on the main page, just in speed gear and commanding presence and partial mastery. And Dark Elhane, I think I used him. He's got partial mastery, he's just not applied. No blessing, no relic, and he is in a piece of stone skin and 4-piece merciless with a protection set. And those were his stats. So I think Cold Heart made an appearance. She was in there, Merciless, Helm Smasher, Phantom Touch. So those were the builds of the champs that I remember using most. I showed you the 2 different Shmails I used. I guess one was in a Guardian set, and the other one is just in a cruel damage build. So those were probably the stats that really mattered on those champs. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful. If you got this far, please like and subscribe. Man, and I put a lot of time into it. Probably wasn't worth it, but I appreciate those who watched. Thank you.